Why do we make coffee? Here, we don't just make coffee because it tastes good, but because it does good. Because it wakes us up and jolts open our eyes, even when we don't like what we see. We make coffee because we can't sleep. Not while thousands of youth spend the night in shelters, on trains, in cars, and on the street. We make coffee because we're tired of one-of-a-kind youth trapped in the same old cycles, tired of seeing their wild hearts broken, tired of looking away. We make coffee to serve, not just the beverages people want, but to support youth experiencing homelessness need. We help youth find their footing and support them if they stumble. We help them see it's what they deserve. We make coffee so they can fly. Take a sip and let's soar. Why do we make coffee? Here, we don't just make coffee because it tastes good, but because it does good. Because it wakes us up and jolts open our eyes, even when we don't like what we see. We make coffee because we can't sleep. Not while thousands of youth spend the night in shelters, on trains, in cars, and on the street. We make coffee because we're tired of one-of-a-kind youth trapped in the same old cycles, tired of seeing their wild hearts broken, tired of looking away. We make coffee to serve, not just the beverages people want, but to support youth experiencing homelessness need. We help youth find their footing and support them if they stumble. We help them see it's what they deserve. We make coffee so they can fly. Take a sip and let's soar.
To see you all this morning. Yeah, we're gonna make some music together. Some hard rock. Oh. That's true. All right. We're scheming on our audio technology up here. All right. Well, anyway, my name is Chris. It is good to be with you. Starting a new conversation as the season turns. And I don't know if it felt like a surprise to you waking up to December, but it doesn't seem like it should be quite that. We should be quite there. But so we're gonna deal with some meanderings around the idea of hope, and I thought that this song feels kind of nice for that. Here comes the sun, doo doo doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. You sing this? Here comes the sun, doo doo doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, doo doo doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Oh, sun, 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 here it comes. Sing that. Oh, sun, 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 here it comes. Oh, sun, 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 here it comes. Oh, sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, doo doo doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun, doo doo doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright. All right. Well, if you would, as you're gathering yourself into this space among other people, would you stand up and just let your body be a little freer than in those seats? I would invite you. As always, you don't have to listen to me, but I think it's good for us. You're going to hear a lot more about this, but sometimes hope isn't quite just easy or simple or straightforward, and there's some things like fear that get in the way. So this one is called Fear is Easy, Love is Hard. Real quick, just so, because I want to make sure that you get a chance at singing along with this. When we get to the chorus, it just goes, fear will leave you hiding in the dark. You sing that? Fear will leave you hiding in the dark, but love will bring a light into your heart. But love will bring a light into your heart. Yeah, and then we just sing, so do not be afraid. Try that. So do not be afraid. Yeah, that's about as straightforward as that is. Okay, all right, here goes. Turn on the TV for the evening news. They got plenty of fear and nothing to do. Know there's somebody who's gone too far, makes you wanna put up your guard. 'Cause fear is easy, but love is hard. So we draw up another dividing line, label each other and we choose a side. This could come at quite a cost, but we won't build a bridge across. Fear is easy and love is hard. Fear will leave you hiding in the dark. love will bring a light into your heart. So do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Well, I'm sorry, baby's what he should have said. She wouldn't listen even if he did. They'll die without forgiveness soon, but no one wants to make a move. Fear is easy, but love is hard. Fear will leave you hiding in the dark. Love will bring a light into your heart. Afraid. Do not be afraid. Hard to give your heart to a world that can break it. Offer love to those you're afraid will forsake it. But a well-defended heart is always looking for a fight in a lonely war against an endless night. Love can bring a light. Fear will leave you hiding in the dark. Love will bring a light into your heart. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Sing that again. Do not be afraid. Afraid. All right, let's work on clapping together on this one, okay? Here we go. If you're lost and you're lonely, go and figure out why. Take a trip to your dark side. Go on and have a good cry. 'Cause we're all lonely. We're all lonely together. I want to see your sadness. I want to share your sins. I want to bleed your blood, and I want to be let in. Don't you just, don't we all just want to be together? Sing this out. Leave what's heavy, what's heavy behind. Leave what's heavy, what's heavy behind. If your face is down, take a look around. Do your fingers move? Do your lungs inflate? Are you tired? Are you weary of the hidden hate you've been holding? Hey, did you lose that love? I hope you never had it. Are you feeling that 'cause you did a bad thing? Hey, leave what's heavy, what's heavy behind. Leave what's heavy, heavy behind. Are you feeling fearful, brother? Are you feeling fearful, sister? The only way to lose that fearful feeling, replace it with love that's healing. Are you feeling fearful, brother? Are you feeling fearful, sister? Leave what's heavy. What's heavy behind? 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 Go ahead and have a seat, please.
Good morning. Good morning, and thank you to everyone who has chosen to be part of the Fabric community this morning and in this time. Welcome to Field Elementary, for those of you that braved the bitter December cold. Hello to those of you who are listening to us, maybe on 2 times speed to get through it on the podcast. And a special welcome to those of you watching on the live stream. My name is Rachel McConnell, and it was about a year ago at this time of year that Ian and I started spying on you all via the live stream. Ian's first pastoral job had come to an end. And after those 5 years of chaotic mornings trying to get myself and our 2 kids, trying to get our crap together and to show up on time to get our butts in those pews, man, I was loving sleeping in on Sunday mornings. It was just so slow and cozy and lovely. But there we were, watching the worship happening from our couches. We were scoping out this church, for those of you listening. I'm air quoting, this church called Fabric. My first impression was Charles, who was doing the welcome that day. He was so laid back and calm and funny, all things that, I am too if I remember to take my anxiety meds. And as he made the announcements and oriented everybody to the Fabric community, I was super impressed. First, he said, "Feel free to get up at any time and help yourself to coffee and tea and water." I was like, what? They get to drink coffee during church? Like, what? They just get up and move? Okay. Say less, okay? Then next, Charles was like, also, yeah, there's girls' and boys' bathrooms just down the hall this way. Or continue to follow the signs to the gender-neutral, wheelchair-accessible restroom that also has infant changing tables. I was like, wow, that's really great. That's thoughtful, like intentional inclusivity. I love it. Huh. And then Charles made my personal favorite announcement, and truthfully the one that most clearly speaks to me, the priorities of the Fabric community. He talked about the opportunities for the kids. If you came here today with children 6 months to 3 years, please know that they are welcome. And not only if they stay still and quiet enough, but no matter how they come, they are welcome. Whew. That's good to hear. After I'm done talking, there will be a pause to say hi, and that will be a perfect time to bring your little ones into the nest, get settled in with the loving caregivers that are in there today. Finally, the day that I was stalking you guys, Charles made the announcement about what the older kids were up to. They were practicing for the yearly Christmas performance, and that is what they're doing again today. So my kids, preschoolers, kindergartners, and then all the way up to middle schoolers are getting ready for this year's Fabric Kids production. It is happening right here on December 15th, so mark your calendars. Heidi and Della and others are not messing around as they prepare for this performance. It is incredible. Raleigh was practicing his vocal warm-ups in the bath this morning. It's amazing. These kids are learning so much about themselves and others and the world. I'm telling you, the lessons learned in that kids' space is way more than the classic singing, screaming, go tell it on the mountain Christmas program we're used to. We're in for a treat, and those kids are just so lucky. Okay, a few more nitty-gritty things before I take up any more of Ian's speaking time. Your Sunday paper is, you should have grabbed one, and it has all these other loose papers. So please pull out your communication card. Start filling it out now. Wait till Ian gets a little boring, whatever. But they do, these are really special. Fill out your name. If you're here, you are part of the community. On the back, you can add any questions, comments, prayer requests. I always just write notes about how cute the pastor is. But truly, write down, anything that you are celebrating or that is weighing heavy on you, and know that that burden is being shared. I'm really excited about this new series that is starting today. I know these weeks leading up to Christmas as Advent, a time that the church tries to slow down, focus in into this patient waiting. All while consumerism and weird family dynamics and busy schedules make those pressures of Christmas feel almost unbearable. Peace, joy, love, it's hard to feel in this time. It's easier not to give a fig about any of it, but I look forward to these moments here to pause and to reflect about it, and to bring that out into our daily lives. Chili cook-off. I knew that I was going to forget to mention. This flyer is over on the welcome table with Melissa. If you have any other questions or things you want to learn more about, Melissa's your person. I think we're still looking for a couple more cooks for we have a lot of cooks for the chili cook-off. We need eaters. Yeah, we need people to eat them. So please, come. Sunday, December 29th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, please stand up, move about if you would like to, get to know someone or don't. Like I said, remember, coffee, bathrooms, and welcome to this space.
Testing the microphones. All right, good. Oh. Hello? Okay, testing. Okay. Hi. Okay, we're trying again. I think, oh, yay, thank you. People back there, so smart, so good. Just want to say good morning to you folks watching, connecting via the live stream. Boy, technology can be our friend and our foe, and we are using it for good things around here. I'm so glad you're connecting this way. Let us know what you're giving a fig about or not these days. We have a contact page on our website, just easy to find, and it's kind of our virtual communication card, that thing Rachel was talking about, that we share when we're here in this space. But we love all the comments that we get from you too, from all over the place. Gosh, it really is encouraging and connective for us too, so it's completely mutual. Thank you. Hello, Kate. See, we're all saying hi here. Really great energy here this morning. Lots of people visiting today for this month where, boy, I think we really need this weekly pause in a month like this. The expectations are higher. We're out of our routines, and our highs are going to be higher maybe, and our lows might be lower. So use these Sunday pauses, or whenever you fit this in, to nourish yourself and take a breath. Yeah. So taking a breath with you, know that we really value your connecting with us and hope you feel that from wherever you are. So welcome, thank you so much. We will connect soon. It'd be so fun to meet you in real life too. We hope that happens someday, but for now, yay for the live stream and yay for the people who make it happen. I'm looking at you, Sage. Woo! I wish you could see Sage. They're so awesome. Okay, bye, thanks.
Who gives a fig? Who gives a fig?
Is that all it is? Is that all it is? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am Ren. As we start this new series, Who Gives a Fig? Each week, I'm going to be reading a little bit of a grounding text to get the theme set, highlight some part of the Christmas story. It might be a little bit of a Bible verse, like today, or maybe a bit of a poem, or some lyrics. So, as we get into this grounding text, I invite you to settle into your seat. Some background for today's reading. The story goes that a young woman named Mary, who is engaged to a carpenter named Joseph, was visited by an angel by the name of Gabriel, who said to her, "Rejoice, favored one, God is with you." She was obviously freaked out by both the message and the messenger. The angel said, "Don't be afraid, Mary. God is honoring you. Look, you will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great, and he will be called the Son on Most High." So, long story short, she visited her super old cousin Elizabeth, who was also unexpectedly pregnant with John the Baptist. And they have a moment together where they see each other, and Mary, despite whatever shock she's feeling, musters up these prophetic and famously hopeful lines. And so, here is Mary from Luke 1. Mary said, "With all my heart I glorify the Lord. In the depths of who I am, I rejoice in God my Savior. He was looked with favor on the low status of his servant. Look, from now on, everyone will consider me highly favored, because the Mighty One has done great things for me. Holy is his name. He shows mercy to everyone from one generation to the next. Who honors him as God? He was shown strength with his arm. He has scattered those arrogant thoughts and proud inclinations. He has pulled the powerful down from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty-handed." And now my favorite part.
Hope. It's what we're all supposed to be feeling this time of year, right? I mean, after all, 'tis the season to be jolly. But honestly, I'm having a hard time finding it. Hope, that is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can sing Deck the Halls and Silent Night with the best of them, but singing about peace on earth, that's a little harder when the world seems to be falling apart. I mean, you've seen the news. There's wars starting all over the place. Families are not talking to each other because they're so divided. Our planet, it's starting to cook like a turkey on Thanksgiving morning. And then on top of that, the Christmas card bills are going to come in January, pile on top of my mortgage payment. I'll tell you, this gig I took singing Christmas carols at the mall to make a little extra money, I mean, jingling these bells ain't gonna pay those bills. Still, here I am, smiling and singing, trying to muster some holiday spirit for people who walk by at the mall. You know, the overcommitted parents, the overtired children, the guy that's trying to steal an extra sample from the pretzel place without anybody catching him. You know who you are. It's not that I don't want to trust that there's hope. It's just that I don't know what that looks like when all I feel is fear. I mean, everything just feels so heavy. Singing about tidings of comfort and joy, it just feels hollow. Yeah, I'm not ready to put on my hope mask. Not when all I really feel is anxious and scared and overwhelmed. Yeah, I think this year, maybe hope is for other people.
Ooh, that feels real. Is there actually room for hope if we're also feeling afraid, if we're feeling fear this time of year? Man, I'm sorry you worked so hard at lighting that match. We're turning this sign around to give a little space for fear today. Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. once said, "For the simplicity on this side of complexity, I wouldn't give you a fig. But for the simplicity on the other side of complexity, for that, I would give you anything I have." Hope is typically during the kind of pre-Christmas Advent season. Hope in the sort of churchy world is associated with this first week of a series, right? We light a candle, we think about hope. It's lovely, it's pretty, it's a beautiful word that gets shellacked all over decor on walls and ornaments, right? But that kind of hope, that feeling of hope, doesn't feel all that hopey to me when it's threatened by fear. Kind of a fleeting feeling, if you ask me. Hardly worth lighting a candle in honor of it all. Because fear is a very present character. In the Christmas story and in our lives this time of year, fear is here. The sky is darker, right? Things are getting colder and colder. This morning driving in, I saw the downtown skyline, and like all the moisture in the air at 8 this morning was like hovering and frozen. It's eerie and scary. In the Northern Hemisphere and in the global West, sort of the context and culture that I know best, the one that we're in, there's a sort of marrying of Christmas with wistful nostalgia and twinkly lights and unbelievable expectations that we put on other people or other people put on us or we put on ourselves around this season. Just wild expectations. And then when I can't meet those expectations, I feel grief or shame or sadness that I can't do it all, right? Hope, along with these other sort of Christmassy words like peace and joy and love, get thrown around, plastered on wall decor and Christmas pop songs, but rarely in a way that leaves room for the complexity of our actual real lives. Like, I feel a cultural pressure to embrace hope, but it seems like a sort of cheap version of hope. It asks us to ignore fear, to check fear outside somewhere. Because if fear is present, then hope can't be. So this year, we're here during this series to say that yes, there is room for fear. We can hold it, we can carry it. It's in our bellies. If you're like me, it's in my stomach and all those knots. You can bring it with you into this space, into your life, carry it along. We're here to claim that because there is a hope, I believe, that doesn't require us to brush fear under the bed and let it become a little monster under there. Hope and fear, when they're just feelings, if hope is a feeling and if fear is a feeling, hope and fear are siblings with different perspectives. They're looking at life just a little bit differently. If you're on the back of your Sunday paper already, this is the fill-in. We're back to Sunday papers with fill-ins. I see the teacher in the room over here. I'm not willing to pretend that fear can't be present in the room when we're talking about hope. Fear is a feeling, and feelings give us really good information. All feelings are information. Fear gives us good information about our relationship to the things happening around us, about what we really care about in the world, right? And sometimes feelings like fear even give us kind of a good direction or a way to respond or engage in any given situation. We are, each one of us, after all, descendants of people who survived in some way, shape, or form. Thank you, fear, for that. So in the spirit of Christmas, in the spirit of the Christmas season that is upon us, in the spirit of a hope that gives space for fear to be known, I'm wondering, and I'm going to give you a minute to think about this and jot down a couple notes on your Sunday paper. Where are you noticing fear during this season, this time around? Is fear present in your life, in your thinking, or in your body? Take a moment just to jot that down or reflect on that. It feels true to me that hope is a feeling. We can feel hopeful, right? I've felt hopeful even in the last few days. It can be a feeling, for sure. But if it's left just as a feeling, then I think it's easily threatened by fear, right? I think of Stephen Colbert one time said, like, when he's talking about fear, and that, like, these feelings of fear can't be present if you're laughing, right? Like, that's his way. He's a comedian, so makes sense. You can't feel afraid if you're laughing. I don't know if I totally buy it, but it's a good strategy. I think that hope and fear both are feelings. I think it's also true that there's a version of hope, though, that's deeper than a feeling, or a response to an outside stimulus, or more than just a feeling that gives us information. I agree with researchers like Brené Brown that hope is actually a way of thinking. Hope, when it's allowed to be in the presence of fear, is a way of thinking. This is what Brené Brown said. It's a cognitive process and a behavioral choice. That feels a little sharp when I hear it, but I think it might be true. I want to be careful not to demonize fear, but I would argue that when given the opportunity to get in the driver's seat and take control, fear will take it. And then fear, for me at least, becomes less a feeling and more of an active choice I'm making, whether I like it or not. I think fear has the ability to do what hope can be when it's given space. It can be more than a feeling and become a choice that I'm making, whether I like it or not. Fear can become a cognitive process also and a behavioral choice. So for me, when fear is the posture that I'm actively holding on to, I've noticed in myself, I make a lot of noises. Like when things are happening around me, I make noises like, ugh. Or like I show up in spaces a lot more critical of myself or other people. I'm a lot more attuned to kind of pick things apart and with a really critical eye. Hope in that way of being is nothing more than a feeling that is very absent for me. So both fear and hope can be a feeling, but they can also become a powerful orientation toward the world. What's worth noting here, I think, is that where fear as a feeling can be helpful and where there's absolutely a place for it, when it becomes an orientation, it will drain the life right out of you every time. Fear as a chosen orientation is not good for the body. There's good science around this. Cortisol levels and the stress hormones rise in our bodies, and that does all sorts of things in our bodies and to our minds, right? Grinding teeth at night, criticism of self or others, damaged relationships, you name it. And fear as an outlook leaves no space for real hope. Hope turns into despair pretty quickly when fear's in control, right? You start to hear things like, I hope I can survive this. On the other hand, when fear's sibling, hope, is given the opportunity to become more than a feeling or a response, but rather a chosen outlook or orientation, the perspective shifts. All of a sudden, there's this poem that I read online about hope, and I think it can become true when we allow hope to not just be a feeling, but to be an orientation. So I saw this as a tweet by a guy named Matt. Don't know his last name, but I love it. What he wrote about hope is this. He said, people speak of hope as if it's this delicate, ephemeral thing made of whispers and spiders' webs. It's not. Hope has dirt on her face, blood on her knuckles, the grit of the cobblestones in her hair, and just spat out a tooth as she rises for another go. Ooh, that's the kind of hope I hope for. The Christmas story that Ren read for us, actually the beginning of it starts with something like during the reign of King Herod of Judea. So it sets this context. So King Herod is like a Bible villain, like just scum of the earth, kind of like neurotic and power hungry and hoarding of resources and power and willing to kill off an entire generation this is who King Herod was. And so it starts with that. So it's a nod to the often terrifying and violent reality of the world in which this story took place historically. Julius Caesar was the head of the Roman Empire, and Herod was the sort of governor of this region, and really can be a scary time. The context of the entire Christmas story is a culture in which fear was a main character. There's poverty, there's violence, there's just like the everyday experience of existing under the thumb of the Roman Empire. There are umpteen different ways for Mary to feel afraid, right? She's young, she's female in this time, she's betrothed to be married to Joseph, and we don't know all that's tied up in that, but I can't imagine that she had the level of agency that I would hope for her, right? There's all sorts of reasons to be afraid. And then on top of that, an angel shows up that says, "Oh, you're going to get pregnant now out of nowhere and give birth to like God in the flesh." And she's like, "Okay, yeah." Okay. So the angel's response throughout this whole story that's in Luke, the angel keeps popping, like, "Ugh!" And everyone's like, "Ugh!" And the angel says, "Do not be afraid." Cute. So keep showing up. Do not be afraid is his refrain every time he shows up, which makes sense, I suppose, because people have a reaction to an angel showing up like that. But also, the line, do not be afraid, is, I think it often can be read as like, oh, just ignore your fear, right? Because you are favored, or you are the receiver of some news, that nobody else knows. You should be, ignore your fear. And I don't think that's quite what it is. Mary's response, though, and this is the reason I wanted Ren to read this, is that Mary's response is incredibly hopeful, even prophetic. Like one of the most well-known, I would say, in sort of like community organizing circles, like Mary's response here is huge. It has a full acknowledgement and naming of all the reasons to be afraid, right? The arrogance and the pride of political leaders, the resource and power hoarding at the top of the food chain. She names her feeling small and insignificant in the context of the world as it is, and then she dreams out loud a vision of the world as it could be, right? That the divine has showed up to give good things, give good food to the hungry, and to lift up the lowly, and to tear down the powerful, and leave the wealthy no part, right? Because they've got what they need. Hope is not merely a feeling that requires us to ignore fear. Hope is the courage to trust that things can be better than they are. Hope isn't just a feeling, it's courage. It's a choice. It's an action, and it's a commitment. Hope, I don't think, needs to feel threatened by fear or dismiss fear either. I think hope can be a companion of fear for the journey together. And I think that's the world we're living in too. If you're anything like me, fear is ever present. There are things to be afraid of. And I think hope can be a choice that we hold on to, right? That we look through this outlook toward the world. And so I would say, I hope, as a feeling, that we might also be brave enough to turn away from the simple hope on this side of fear, and rather embrace the savory, chewy hope on the other side. The kind of hope that isn't just doe-eyed and pretty and sparkly. The hope that has a furrowed brow and clenched fists and tears in her eyes as she hums an ancient battle cry with us. That's the kind of hope that I hope we can experience. May it be so.
Well, I guess I would encourage you to take this moment to finish scribbling on those communication cards and pop those into those baskets in the aisles. Those can go down the rows. They can get tossed up, I guess maybe just up front by these candles here. Yeah, and whether it's that way of putting yourself into the life of this community, whether it's the financial gifts that you give, all of that, just say thanks. Just grateful for that. Oh, little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thy light above thy deep and dreamless sleep. The silent stars go by, yet in thy dark streets shines the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. For Christ is born of Mary and gathered all above. Mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch of wandering love. Their ringing stars together proclaim the holy birth, and praises sing to God the King, and peace to all the O holy child of Bethlehem, be sent to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter in, be born in us today. We hear the Christmas great glad tidings tell. Oh, come to us, abide with us, our Lord Emmanuel. Thanks. Oh, let's sing one more together, shall we? Yeah, let's stand up for this last one, if you would, please. lonely people on the road. You get a little scared, throw you to the wolves. You meet a lot of perfect strangers in the room. Get a little close, run away soon. All I want in this life of mine, someone to take my hand and walk with me side by side. All I need in this world of tears, someone to give me time, love without fear. Give me time, love without fear. Meet a lot of silent partners in this game, standing to the side, beaten with acclaim. Meet a lot of empty airships in this sky, silver on blue, take you for a ride. All I want in this life of mine, someone to take my hand, walk with me side by side. All I need in this world of fears is someone to give me time, love without fear. All I want in this life of mine, someone to take my hand, walk with me side by side. All I need in this world of tears, someone to give me time, love without fear. Give me time, love without fear. Give me time, love without fear. Love without love without fear. Thank you.
Oh, good? Ah, I'm live. All right, sweet. Okay, so on your way out, I wanted to introduce you to what look like pizza boxes, but we're not calling them pizza boxes for this season. They are the Who Gives a Fig Wondering boxes, okay? That's what we're going to call them, yeah. So you're going to grab one on the one, like we'd love if you want to take one for each household, and then it comes with, this one's the example one that Heidi made. It's got like a fig on the front of it. If you want to sit, you can. So I can show you this. Heidi took a magazine and made a mosaic and then like Mod Podged it on. Heidi goes all out for everything. I'm really impressed. I took out watercolors with Raleigh and Sigrid and went, zhugga, 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 zhugga. So you can do that too. But on the inside is the Wonderings bit, okay? So what you can do is on the inside there's kind of instructions here on how to use this, but we're going to invite you to use this as kind of a tool, a conversation tool with you and your families or your groups. You can take your little wooden dowel and start here on hope, and then each day you can move it one bit. This will be a fun thing to keep track of. And then on the top of the box here are kind of conversation prompts. So they're kind of prepared with all ages in mind and all sort of approaches in mind. So use these to kind of get into this a little bit. Like what does hope look like that has room for fear this week? That kind of thing, okay? Brittany and Melissa and Ashay are over here at the welcome table, and you can grab one for your family to take with you and have fun with it. And with that, thank you for being here. Thanks for being Fabric, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next Sunday. All right, have a great week.